Speaking of chaos, 40 stolen bases for Ellie De La Cruz before
Mm.
July even hit. What number are we like realistically possibly looking at for Ellie De La Cruz to end the season with stolen bases?
Hundo.
You think he gets 100?
I think he absolutely could get 100.
Man, that's
So many stolen bases, dude. It's so many swipes.
and not even close to Ricky. Like that's the crazy part of that too.
I mean, I think if you look at it, he's on pace for like 85 or something like that, based on the rate that he's at right now. I think a guy like that, come September, he's going to swipe every freaking thing he can.
Yeah. Ricky Henderson's single season was 130.
Yeah, there's no way he's touching that.
No. But
he just doesn't get on base enough. I mean,
he doesn't.
That's
another
problem. Thing about Ricky. That's yes, he was a great stolen base guy, no question, best of all time. But like, you have to have a lot of opportunities. I mean, you got to be on first base all the time,
right,
to have that many opportunities. Ellie just doesn't get on with that kind of rate. But
not even close.
No.
I mean, I think with the pace that he's at right now for like the mid to high 80s, I'd love to see him turn it up a little bit and like get over 90. I think that'd be incredible.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, especially this day and
I think
age.
100's pushing it. I think 100's pushing it.
Oh, for sure.
But 90, 91, 92 would just be absolutely incredible.
Because you think about like the years that we've had, obviously not counting the last couple, but stolen bases hasn't really been a thing lately, right? And now it's starting to like cycle back around, and it's starting to become more of the game again. I would love to see some of these really high, steal totals again.
Steals haven't been a thing since like the 90s until the last few years. Like nobody is stealing bases anymore.
Yeah. So, Bo Jackson enters the Royals Hall of Fame. I mean, rightfully so. The dude was a beast there, just a beast in general. And we've talked about Bo Jackson a ton on this podcast with the rocket arm he had and some of the best defensive plays we've ever seen. I can't remember. I was listening to the Royals game and they were talking about Bo Jackson, how he like made that catch and then ran up the wall. And they asked like the manager or something at that time, like, would you have been able to make that catch? He's like, yeah, I just would have broken my leg, hip, arm, like just everything. Just a freak athlete.
That guy's a freak.
Yeah. I can't imagine having so much power, like when he was playing football, to injure yourself with your own muscles like that. To like just pop your entire leg out because you were just that much of a beast. Like crazy. But I didn't see the ceremony myself, but Harrison, you just said it was a nice ceremony.
Yeah, I caught some of it. It was nice. He got up there and speak. He had a lot of nice things to say about the fans, the city, his experience there, and he was very well received. It was nice little ceremony. But he is still an incredibly popular guy in that city. And it was nice to see that come out when they honored him.
Yeah. And then the last thing I have, Wyatt Langford finally off the injured list. He comes back. He hits for the cycle last night. And this dude is, I hope he just keeps growing. Yeah, I hope he keeps growing as a player because his talent is insane. He is so fast. He's quick. He's got some pop. Harrison, you said his double was like stretched, right? He had to stretch that into a double.
Yeah, it was basically the infield was shifted, and he had a ball just to the left-hand side of the second baseman, which is like where the second baseman normally plays. And then it kind of died in the grass, and he turned the corner around first, and just never stopped, and went into second with a double. But I mean, basically, that ball was a single for everybody else. It died in the outfield, that Bermuda Triangle between the center fielder, the right fielder, and the second baseman. And he just kept running.
Yeah. So I just hope he can stay healthy. I know he was on the shelf for a little bit there, but I'd love to see what this.
Yeah, and that's kind of going into with like seeing some stolen bases come back. Just general aggressiveness on the base paths. I feel like has really ramped up the past couple of years. Really, last year and this year, right? Like stretching hits like that. Let's take a chance. Let's make them make a play. First to third on singles. Just kind of generally just these younger kind of spark plug players are really starting to kind of put their stamp on it with just constant aggressiveness early in the games, late in the games, and again, we just talk about how it just adds just additional stress to the defense. But you can't take a play. You can't jog your way into a ground ball that's coming at you. Like everything has to be on point. The throws have to be good. You got to hit your cutoffs. They got to be accurate. They have to have velocity behind them. Because if any one of those things doesn't happen, you're giving up an extra bag.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just general stress that it's at, and those are way more exciting games to watch.
Yeah. I mean, that was the thing in college. It was like you run until the fielders prove that they can stop you.
Mhm.
And if you had a base hit and you're just lollygagging up to first base to make your round, you were riding the pine the next inning. If not pinch ran for immediately. Like our coach didn't put up with any of that. You didn't hustle up a ground ball, you sit. I'm talking even like a ground ball back to the pitcher. If he's already over there and flipping and you're not running through first base, you're on the bench the next day.
Well, it's like, did you guys see Manny Machado a week or two ago hit the ball to third base that was bobbled?
Yeah.
He still got thrown out because he was basically dogging it down the line. And not a word was said. I just carry on, keep doing your thing. I mean, blows me away.
I'm not a trainer by any stretch, but I think that's where you start seeing the hamstring pops and pulls, right? Because they're like, they hit a weak ground ball at the second base and they're just jogging. And then all of a sudden they bobble it and they're like, oh, and then they try to kick it into that extra gear and your muscle just goes, just pops.
Yeah.
And instead of hustling hard out of the box from the get-go, you know, I feel like that's when we get the popped hamstrings. Like you see guys like Byron Buxton. I know it's a weird example, but like you see him, he had round second base and then he's like, oh, I'm going to get the third. Then all of a sudden it's like, bang, it's gone.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like you gear up and even because of that, you put stress on the hamstring, but like Machado never even looked up. He just dogged it the whole way. And that's just, people wonder why the Padres can't put it together. It's because of stuff like that. It's constant.
Crazy. But one bright spot for the Padres right now is Jackson Merrill. That kid is tearing the cover off the ball.
Yeah, they took 2 out of 3 cleanly from the Red Sox when they're playing well. So I mean, the Padres have certainly come back to life, but
both were by 10 runs, weren't they?
Yeah, just dysfunctional.